It was March 21st, 2024, around 9:39 p.m. I'm in a few group chats with different homies. One of the group chats, the homie Chris, hits it up and he just says, Kendrick Lamar, all caps, a bunch of exclamation marks, right? Now, I respond with, excuse me, what's going on? He replies with, this ninja just dissed J. Cole and Drake on Future and Metro Boomin's album. I immediately was shook. And I was like, what? He said, yeah. And he's very direct. He basically saying their names. And I was just like, whoa. Now, mind you, all my homies know I've been a Kendrick Lamar fan early. I've been saying he's been the best rapper in the game since To Pimp a Butterfly. So they know, this is my guy. This is one of my favorite rappers, you know what I mean? Especially of this generation. I was definitely intrigued by what was happening. So being that over the weekend, it was a year since the day Kendrick Lamar changed hip hop forever with the verse on the song Like That, I'm going to start a series where I do retrospective reactions to the battle between Drake and Kendrick Lamar. Every time that a song from that battle reaches the 1 year anniversary, I would do a retrospective reaction on how I felt and my thoughts as I heard these songs for the first time. And then, of course, the impact of everything that's been happening. So, being that it was the 1 year anniversary, it's only right that we start off with Like That, because to me, this verse, it set the tone for what was to come. And it also is the catalyst to where hip hop is going to be for the next 50 years. I've always told the homies when this battle started and when this battle was in the middle of it and when it finished, I said, this battle is going to change some people's list as far as where Kendrick stands on all-time greats list. This battle is going to be remembered as the biggest battle of hip-hop history because of the magnitude of both artists. And I've seen them all. As a kid, I've seen Tupac's entire career, Biggie's entire career, rise and demise of them both when they went at it. That was more of a one-sided situation, though, because Biggie really didn't say much. It was really Tupac. I've seen the battle between Jay-Z and Nas. And for those who don't know, I'm going to tell you now, Nas is my GOAT. The only person I got touching Nas is Kendrick. We'll get into that another time because I'm planning to do a video on that as well. So this is the biggest battle. Trust me. I done seen them all. So at least of the modern era, I've seen them all. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's get into what happened from that point on from when I saw this text message. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the song. Okay. We're gonna do a reaction. Now, mind you, I'm not a big Future fan at all. I've never listened to a Future project. I've heard his hits, but it just wasn't my taste of music. It's not my taste in hip hop. It's not. Now, am I knocking it? No. I feel people have a right to have their taste, but for my taste, it just really wasn't mine. The fact that I'm even pulling up this song was like, wow, this is crazy. Of course, Kendrick and him have done stuff before. Kendrick was on the remix to Mask Off, and Kendrick bodied that verse. So, they are familiar with each other. So when I pulled this up, I didn't know what to expect. When I heard this, I was shook because the beat is Metro. I didn't know what to expect.
Sticking to the code, all these hoes for the street.
I didn't know what to expect. I mean, for those who don't know, and I'm sure everybody knows by now, but this is a legendary West Coast beat. That's Michelle. For those who know, she used to be this is a legendary West Coast beat. Look, I grew up in LA County. My mom is from Compton. My dad is from Long Beach. All my life, my grandparents lived in Carson, California. My sister graduated from Carson High. I spent literally all my life going between Pomona, California, where we lived at, to being raised by my grandparents. My mom worked at Martin Luther King Hospital. I went to elementary school in Watts. We used to spend our summers out there at Enterprise Park playing Little League baseball, because my mom always wanted us close to her during the summer times. Man, one of our babysitters was in Nicholson Gardens. Everything in that area that they speak about, that Kendricks talk about in Compton, them being in Carson, I'm familiar with all of that. That's most of my life. So I relate to a lot of the West Coast lingo because that's where I'm from. You know what I mean? That's where I grew up. You know what I mean? Familiar with the gang culture, all of that out there. You know what I'm saying? So, and then again, like I said, my pops is from Long Beach. So, we're familiar with that side of the family as well. So this is pure West Coast. This is West West all day. You feel me? Let's get back to it.
I put it in her nose, it's gonna make her pussy leak. Pussy niggas told ain't gonna wake up at they sleep. You can't hear that switch, but you can hear them niggas scream. All my hoes do shrooms, nigga, all my hoes do coke. 20-carat ring, I put my fingers down her throat.
Now, mind you,
if I lose a carat, she might choke.
I know that's a famous part from a song by Future. Like I said, I'm not a big Future fan, but I'm not gonna lie, this Metro beat is banging. Oh man, yeah.
I know she gon' swallow, she'll go. Free band nigga, bring the rats in. Got the shooters in the corner, like the pack in. She think cause she's out it, bitch, she attractive. That's that shit that get you put up at the section.
Now, I remember when listening to this and I was wondering, I was like, how is Kendrick going to fit into this? Like, what's his approach going to be? What is he saying? Because mind you, I didn't hear anything. I purposely didn't go to the internet first, because normally I would go to Twitter or see what's going on, go to YouTube, stuff like that. But I definitely was like, okay, let me listen to the song first. And, as I'm listening to it for the very first time, I could remember just being like, okay, where's this going? When does he come in? You know what I'm saying? So the anticipation was building by the minute.
And the model still the same. Ball like I won a championship game. You know these hoes hungry, they gon' fuck for a name. I put her on the game, she get fucked for a chain. Got your girl in this bitch, she twirling on the dick.
And mind you, like I said before, I'm not a big Future fan, and I've always been a music listener that's lyrics first. I know a lot of people like to listen to the music first, lyrics second. I've always been a lyrics first type of person. So just some of the stuff that Future is saying, it's just like, it's not really grabbing me. It's not hitting me. I'm not amused by it because, like I said, it's just never really been anything that he's done that's really grabbed me like that. Like I said, no disrespect, respect to his fans, respect to his artistry, but it's just never really been a sound that I've gravitated to or anything that I just really liked, to be honest. It's just not my taste.
I got syrup in this bitch, turn up in this bitch, and we about to irks in this bitch, get murked in this bitch. All these pointers on me, baby, you know it's game time. Bring a friend, bitch, we fuck them at the same time. I'm a different.
And the way he chopping this is crazy. Like I said, that's that West Coast and that's Miss Chalet. She has a really high pitched voice, her talking voice, but very powerful singing voice. She was a singer, but a very high pitched voice. Which is kind of what's even crazy is she has a Lifetime movie about her life. And I remember one time I went to visit a church in LA, and the woman that played her, the actress, was literally next to me singing, and she's a beast of a vocalist. She was, doing her thing. So that's just kind of crazy. I know it's kind of off topic, but no, I mean, hey, it is what it is. I got stories, y'all. I got stories.
Nigga, no, we not the same kind. You can have that look, bitch, you ain't mine. Young dope dealer selling dope, is you like that? Kicking doors, kicking in doors, is you like that?
Now, I'm not gonna lie, the beat is banging, right? But the hook is fire too. I'm gonna tell you something. So around this time this happened, this battle was kicking off. This is a little bit after push-ups. Me and my wife, we took a trip to New Orleans for a festival. It was like a jazz something festival, right? Had an amazing time. One of the best trips we've been on, man. It brings back so much memories. And the reason why it brings back so much memories is because everywhere we went, they were blasting this song. When I'm telling you, everywhere we went, they were blasting the song. Driving down the street, you heard it. You used to have the OGs with their little motorcycle crews. They was coming down the street blasting it. It was everywhere. Everywhere we went. When we was on Bourbon Street, every DJ was playing it. It was like nonstop. And of course, this is a number one record. You know what I mean? This is a number one record. But for people to make it seem like Kendrick wasn't moving and shaking, or he doesn't do stuff to push or make impactful music, like he's not a hit maker. And I know this is a future Metro Boomin song, but we all know the reason why this song went number one was because it's Drake. But like Kendrick has done this time and time again. He is a hit maker himself. Now he might not be the commercialized hit maker Drake is or was at the time, because now things have shifted and changed. But he's always been a hit maker his way. And that's the beautiful thing about Kendrick Lamar. And what I like about him the most is that whenever people are going left, he's going to go right and be successful at doing it. Give you a banger going the complete opposite direction the culture or the musical landscape is going for hip hop. I'm just that's my taste of hip hop and artistry. But let's get back to the song.
I throw niggas selling lows, is you like that? All 24, you won't go, is you like that? Niggas from the bottom really like that. Stepping ambulances if you like that. Pop another bottle if you like that.
And right there, I remember when I first heard like the beat drop out, and I was like, oh, whew. I was like, man, I'm not a Future fan, but man, they killing this song right now.
These niggas talking out of their neck. Don't put no coffin out of your mouth. I'm way too paranoid for a threat. Hey, let's get it, bro. DOT, the money, power, respect. The last one is better. Say yes, a lot of goofies with a check. I mean,
All right, so when I first heard him spit those first couple of bars, I got goosebumps. I was excited because my homies could tell you in the group chat, I've been saying for years that Drake cannot handle Kendrick Lamar. Now, the crazy thing is, in the group chat, my homies in these particular group chats are big J. Cole fans. They're big J. Cole fans. And Chris, you know, he's a big J. Cole fan, and my other homie, and it's understandable. You know, a lot of people relate to J. Cole. Like I said in my last video when I was reviewing Clouds, you know, a lot of people feel like they've grown with J. Cole because of his college years going up to manhood and being, establish himself. So and then, I got a homie that's he's a big Drake fan. You know what I mean? So I've always said that Drake can't handle Kendrick. I also feel, and I still feel this way to this day, J. Cole can't handle Kendrick. I felt like since To Pimp a Butterfly, Kendrick Lamar has been the best rapper in the game. And that's even including the 5-year break he took that y'all love to bring up. He took one 5-year break, and then whenever people speak about the length between albums, is always, he take a 5 years. No, he only did it one time. The other times was literally a year to 2 years between each project. Literally. Go check it up. Go ahead and just look it up. The last time Mr. Morale came out was like 2 years ago. But y'all just love to put the 5 years on everything. It's all good, but I just gotta make sure I let y'all know that y'all doing a little bit too much reaching with that. But look, I was hyped. I remember calling my wife in the room. I was like, listen to this. Listen to this. It's happening.
I hold them sentiments symbolic. My temperament bipolar, I choose violence. Okay, let's get it up. It's time for him to prove that he's a problem. Niggas clicking up, but they not be legit. No 40 water. Tell him.
Now, when in the group chat, I remember when First Person Shooter came out. They hit me up. Hey, yo, J. Cole was spazzing on this. Him and Drake, they got one. And I remember listening to it. And I remember I said in the group chat, so they dissing Kendrick. And they were like, nah, what are you talking about? Nah, you think so? I was like, so you gonna mention the big three, but then exclude them out and just talk about y'all two. I always thought it was a diss. It was a sneak diss. I felt like Drake knew what he was doing when he was doing that. He kind of got J. Cole. He kind of got J. Cole in the middle of something that maybe he wasn't ready for, as we saw he wasn't because he apologized. But yeah, I always thought it was a diss, and obviously I was right, and those who felt that way was right because that's how Kendrick took it. You know what I'm saying? That's how he took it. If you follow Glasses Malone, he talks about how Kendrick and him was talking about that one time, and Kendrick was like, "You see what they did?" You know what I'm saying? So, hey, and I know the Drake fans and the Cole fans is gonna, y'all gonna have something to say in the comments or put a thumbs down on the video. But hey, I'm just telling you what it is. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It is what it is. It was a diss. It was maybe not a direct diss, but it was subliminally shooting, and those shots landed. You feel me? So that's all I'm saying. Let's get to it.
Yeah, get up with me. Fuck sneak diss and first person shooter. I hope they came with 3 switches. I crash out like fuck rap. This Melly Mel if I had to. Got 2 T's with me. I'm snatching chains and burning tattoos. It's up, lost.
Yeah. Oh man, what a time to be alive. Man, just think about it. This is historic, y'all. This verse will go down in history. History. Man.
Too many soldiers not to play it safe. If he walk around with that stick, it ain't Andre 3K. Think I won't drop the location. I still got PTSD. Motherfuck the big 3. Nigga, it's just big me. Nigga, boom.
Look, when he said that, I remember yelling out. I was like, it's happening. It's finally happening. And my wife, I was jumping up and down. I was hyped. I'm a hip hop head, y'all. I am a hip hop head. Like I've told you, I have been around long enough to see a lot of things happen in hip hop and see it grow to where it is now. I've seen the battles. I've seen a lot of legendary moments in hip hop, and I was hyped because this was like a 10-year long Cold War subliminals back and forth about, is this going to happen? We knew Control was something that Drake took very to heart. For whatever reason, he decided he wanted to be sensitive about a competitive rap verse, which is kind of weird because hip hop is competitive, but I guess he thought he could make hip hop in his image where it just be all, everybody just being cool. And it is. And Kendrick wasn't dissing anybody on Control. He was just saying that my goal is to be the best. And if being the best means I have to be better than the homies, then that's what I'm going to do. Because this is business at the end of the day. Hip hop is a competitive sport. Shout out to Screwface, but it is, you know what I mean? And I like to say this too. Hip hop is a contact sport. Hip hop is a contact sport. It is literally baked into the culture. From the moment it started to now, battles will continue to happen. And I know there's a lot of talks about, we'll get there, but battles are divisive. Always have, always will be. Let's get back to it.
What? I'm really like that. And your best work is a light pack. Nigga, Prince outlived Mike Jack. Nigga, boom. For all your dogs getting buried. That's a K with all these nines. He gon' see Pet Cemetery, nigga.
Look, I must have listened to that verse 5 times in a row. I rewinded it back and forth. Oh, man. Like this.
These niggas talking out of their neck. Don't put no coffin out of your mouth. I'm way too paranoid for it.
Don't pull no coffin out of your mouth. I'm way too paranoid for a threat. What was Aubrey thinking? Now, my initial thoughts listening to this for the first time was, 1, Drake has to respond. 2, J. Cole shouldn't respond. That's always been my stance that J. Cole should have never responded to this because 98% of this verse that we all know is for Drake. It is. So I just felt like Cole should have left it alone. And Drake had to, after all the stuff that's been happening over the years, you had to respond. There's no way possible you was going to just let this slide after talking all you've been talking all these years about Kendrick. You had to go either you now maybe it would have been wise for him to not respond because of his status and position. But he had to, because one thing about Drake that I kind of observed from his time in the game is it seemed like he's always tried to get the approval of hip hop. You know, and a lot of people don't realize that like there's a difference between like a rapper and an MC or rapping in a like you could be a rapper, but you're not necessarily like a hip hop artist. You know what I mean? Like just because you do something that is a part of hip hop culture don't mean you're really hip hop. And I feel like Drake has for a long time trying to get the respect of hip hop. So that's the reason why he engages in these battles the way he do, because he's just trying to solidify himself as being one of those ones, or being one of those MCs. But you know, hey, you're going against somebody who is a MC, who is highly respected among all of the GOATs, all the legends. Love Kendrick Lamar. And J. Cole too, but like Kendrick is the one that they always like, yeah, that dude is just different. He's legendary. You know what I mean?
Hey, let's get it, bro. DOT, the money, power, respect. The last one is better. Say yes, a lot of goofies with a check. I mean, I hold them sentiments symbolic. My temperament bipolar, I choose violence. Okay, let's.
My temperament bipolar, I choose violence. I was like, oh my God, it's happening. It is happening. The time is now.
Get it up, it's time for him to prove that he's a problem. Niggas clicking up, but pay not be legit, no 40 water, tell him.
What's West?
Yeah, get up with me, fuck sneak this and first person shooter. I hope they came with 3 switches. I crash out like fuck rap, this Melly Mel if I had to. Got 2 T's with me, I'm snatching chains and burning tattoos. It's up, lost too many.
Woo! Yeah. Now this is a jab. You know what I mean? This is just him giving you a little something to let you know, like, yo, we doing this or what? Time out for all the talking. Time out for the subs. Time out for the sneak dissing. Let's see. Jump. You feeling froggy. Y'all talking slick. Now I need one of y'all to come up in here and get into the ring and let's do it. You know what I mean? So that's what this was about. This wasn't supposed to be a haymaker. And what we're going to get into during this series is how y'all was acting. Because some of y'all was acting like Kendrick was afraid before he dropped Euphoria. Oh, I remember it all. I remember it all. Just like I remember how a lot of y'all didn't like To Pimp a Butterfly when it came out. Now y'all want to say it's a classic. But hey, I'm just here to report the news as I see it. But we are definitely going to get into all of that. Ooh, let's go ahead and finish this.
Not to play it safe. If he walk around with that stick, it ain't Andre 3K. Think I won't drop the location. I still got PTSD. Motherfuck the big 3. Nigga, it's just big me. Nigga, bum.
And I'm just going to say this. The big 3 is dead. He done dead. Yeah. Now, I still think, look, I'm not so disappointed in J. Cole that I'm not going to listen to his music anymore. I've never really been a Drake fan like that. Never. I remember with some of the homies in this particular group chat years ago, I was commenting to a Facebook thread about one of the homies that I know who do music was talking about Drake. And I remember this is years ago. Oh, man. And I remember asking the homie Chris about this not so long ago. He remembered this thread. And I said, they asked me what I thought about who was the best rapper. And I said at the time, I said, I think Kendrick Lamar is the best rapper. There was like how, and I said, I don't think there's nobody's rapping better than him. And I said, I think Drake is a culture vulture. I never forget how much that that particular comment just blew up that thread. They were like, "How could you say that?" At the time, you know, Drake was like the one, the most popular, and they were just like, "Look how many people he done put on," you know, uh, Black Boy something, like about the Migos, this, that. You know, how could you say he a culture vulture? I said, because he is. He don't really, is he putting people, I remember I said, is he putting people on or are they putting him on? I remember saying that. And like I said, this is a verified conversation because the homie remembered it. But this was years before this was even a thing. And a lot of people who are hip hop fans and especially hip hop legends has been kind of alluding to that take for a very long time. But what happened was because Drake was gaining so much popularity so fast, he has such a stronghold on the charts that a lot of times those opinions or critique of Drake as a hip hop artist would get overshadowed or drowned out by his fans. Because, well, how could you say this or how could you say that? Look how much he's selling. Look how long he's been on the charts. Look at this and look at that. Look how many hit records he got. Yeah, but like that don't mean that's a great representation of hip hop. Most Def done said it. Y'all was trying to get on Yasin Bey's head when he said, it's so many skews, you know. When the legends speak, we gotta learn to just listen. Just listen. It's okay. Take that wisdom in. Take it in. It's not gonna hurt you, it's just gonna make you better. It's just a different perspective. That's all that is. It's okay, beloved. But this sentiment about Drake not really being hip hop has been around amongst the hip hop heads. And you might want to say they're old heads, but it's some people who know the difference who are even in the younger generation that just understand there's a difference. And so this wasn't new. But what Kendrick did was he pointed it out in a way that it made everybody see it. It was in a way, it was like, it was no denying it. You have to recognize that he really isn't hip hop like y'all try to make him out to be.
I'm really like that, and your best work is a light pack, nigga. Prince outlived Mike Jack, nigga. Boom! For all your dogs getting buried, that's a K with all these nines. He gon' see Pet Cemetery, nigga.
Young dope dealer selling dope, is you like that? Kicking doors, kicking in doors, is you like that? Young throw nigga selling lows, is you like that?
And then he's still hitting you with the onomatopoeias. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people talking about, oh, I don't like Kendrick and his ad libs, and then when he makes those sound effects, those are called. That's literally a literary device, and it's called onomatopoeias. The bing, boop, bop, pow, onomatopoeia. He is not doing anything that is literally not a part of a literary device. It is literally a technical skill. And how could you be upset with his voices when he do stuff like that, when there's been rappers before him who did it? Busta Rhymes used to do it. Eminem used to do it. Snoop Dogg even changes his voice sometimes. He'd be like, we don't love him though. Like all of that has been around. He's not doing anything that hasn't been done. It's just that the way he uses it and he does it is literally in a way that we never seen it before. But it's literally a literary device. It's called onomatopoeia. Look it up.
All 24, you won't go, is you like that? Niggas from the bottom really like that. Stepping in balances if you like that.
I gotta let this go until Metro gets some. You know what I mean? We got to let the producer get some. And like I said, this was everywhere in New Orleans. I'm going to repeat that again. New Orleans. Whew. What Kendrick say? Walking in New Orleans with the etiquette, LA yelling. It was in New Orleans and it was everywhere. Everywhere. You smashed this, Metro.
Young dope dealer selling dope, is you like that? Kicking doors, kicking in doors, is you like that? Young throw nigga selling lows, is you like that? All 24.
All right, so look, let's get back to it. My final thoughts. Okay, so my final thoughts on this. I sent a voice note to the homies and I said, hip hop would never be the same again after this battle. I remember I was in the group chat and I was sending a voice note and I was hyped. I said, ladies and gentlemen, the time has come. You know, it's the showcase of the immortals. If you're a WWE fan, you already know that's around WrestleMania season. They bring that up. That's when, you know, the big dogs is finna do big dog things. And Drake is a juggernaut in music. Kendrick is a juggernaut in music and hip hop. This was the battle of all battles. And I'm so happy that I was alive to see this take place. So, welcome to the very first installment of Retrospective Reactions, Kendrick Lamar versus Drake. This is like that. This is how I felt. I knew that something special was about to happen. Like I said, Drake needed to respond, and I thought at the time J. Cole didn't need to respond. So, on the year anniversary of 7 Minute Drill, I will see you then, and we'll talk about that one. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's chop it up. Tell me what your thoughts were in the comments when you first heard Like That. Did you know it was going to be as big as this was? Did you think that Drake was going to respond? Did you think J. Cole was going to respond? Who did you have winning before it even really kicked off? So, let's talk about it, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.